if I'm a bit too, just come back a bit. So we're going to stand up nice and tall. I hope you've got lots of energy in you tonight. Hope the day hasn't worn you down. So bring your feet. I'm going to cover mine up so you can't see them. Look. Baggy trousers on. There we go. Bring your feet to fist width apart, and I want you to come into mountain pose. I must have eaten something today that's made me hyper. So inhale and exhale. Just allow mountain pose to come in. Engage your tummy muscles. Squeeze your bottom. Try and open your shoulders. Bring the arms round. And just before you close your eyes, I want you to pick within your room your drishti point, your focus point, and I want you to just concentrate on it and focus on it. Not to stare, but just to focus. So I'm just looking at my light switch. Now I've got the image of the light switch kind of in my eyes. I'm going to close my eyes and still continue to look at that light switch. And I want you to feel how strong the body feels and how little swaying there is if you continue to concentrate as if you're internally looking at your focus point. I just don't feel like I'm swaying at all. I found that out by accident in a class in the week. So make sure your feet are strong. If you are swaying, it may be that your feet aren't strong and impacted into the floor, and that your legs and thighs aren't pushing into the floor. So just really focus your mind on the drishti point. And we're going to open the eyes. We're going to inhale, bring the arms up to the sky, just gently bringing your palms together. And as you exhale, keep the palms together, don't turn them round, and just bring the hands back down to your side so your palms are facing out or to the side when you get back. Inhale, bring your hands back up to the sky. And exhale, bring them down. Inhale, bring them up. And exhale, bring them down, stop halfway. So make sure you're nice and grounded, your shoulders are down, your arms are out. Palms are facing upwards if you can. Just be aware we're just starting our practice. So if your shoulders feel tight, you don't have to take your hands all the way around. Shoulder blades down, shoulders back. And then as you exhale, lower your arms down to the floor. I'm just going to come onto my knees, but you stay standing up. It's just that my hands don't appear in the top of the picture. So inhale, bring your hands up again. Take your right hand and grab round to your left wrist. So you're grabbing the wrist. And you really want to use the right hand to pull the wrist away, straightening the arm out as much as you can, and then adding a small side bend in. So you really feel like the stretch is coming from your wrist all the way down your arm, all the way down your side, right towards your hip. Inhale, come back to the centre, swap sides, so do it on the other side, pull the arm up, lengthen the arm, come over to the other side. Inhale, bring it up, we'll do one more on either side. Grab for the other hand, bring it over. And inhale up. Swap hands, exhale down. Inhale up. And then release your arms down to the floor. I'm just coming up to standing again. So bring your hands in front of you and bring your thumbs so that they're grabbing together. So one thumb, if you were to let go, you'd feel like your hands are pulling out. So you're putting resistance through the arms. Just lift them up to shoulder height. So inhale, lift them up. And exhale, bring them down. Inhale, bring them up. And exhale, bring them down. One more time, we're going to take them all the way up to the sky now. So inhale up. Really keep your ribs down. Ribs want to stay down. It's the shoulders we're trying to work, not the ribs. Bring the ribs down. Lift the arms up. Take a few breaths while you're up here. Really use the resistance on the shoulders. Resistance against the thumbs. And then on your next exhale, bring your hands down to the side to release the fingers and just give your arms a shake. So little small circles, tiny little circles. Don't want any clunking going on. Clunking is normally a big thing on big circles. And then bring them back the other way. And then just give your arms a little bit of a shake. So I'm just going to warm up the shoulders one more exercise. So just take your hands behind your back, intertwine your fingers. So my elbows are nice and bent at the moment. What I want to do is straighten my arms, so bring my hands down, almost in line with my top. And I want to pull my shoulders back, engage my tummy, and lift my hands off my back. Just squeeze your shoulder blades together. And if you can't lift the hands off the back, don't worry. Just do what you can do. Really think about squeezing those shoulders back. And then as you exhale, lower your hands down to your back and release the hands. We're just going to do some work on our feet now. So, feet fist width apart. I want you to inhale and lift your toes up, making sure your body doesn't sway. And remember that drishti point. So instead of looking down at your toes, pick your drishti point in front of you. Lower the toes down. We're going to inhale, lift them up. And exhale, lower them down. One more time, lift them up. Really give them a good stretch. Feel the arch underneath your foot really arching up as well. And exhale, lower them down. I'm just turning sideways. What I want you to consider is just taking one foot backwards, turning the toes under and pushing the toes towards the floor. Just inhaling and exhaling. Really feel that stretch come through the front of your foot. This one's always a good one for balance as well. So because you've taken the foot behind you, it does make you balance a little bit differently. So try and keep the weight on your front leg whilst the back leg is just having a toe stretch. So swap feet, bring that foot forward, take the other one back, turn the toes under. Just looking at the dirty, I've got dirty feet, I've been walking around the garden with no shoes on. It's not very professional for a video, is it? And then bring your foot back. Just give yourself a nice little shake. So we're going to kind of work on our glutes and our tummy today. So we're going to start off by doing chair pose. So bring your feet into your favourite position. You can have your feet together, fist width apart, or shoulder width. If you're a guy, you might find that it's more comfortable because your hips are slightly wider than ours to take your feet out just a bit wider. Stand up nice and tall, and as you exhale, you're going to bend the knees forward. So you're leaning forward slightly. Just give your bum a good squeeze, tummy a good squeeze, and then I'm going to get you to bring your hands into prayer. So as you inhale, you're staying here. As you exhale, take your right elbow to the opposite side of your body. Hands together in prayer. If you're feeling quite comfortable, you could bring this elbow right down to the knee. So that's a bit stronger in the pose. But you really need to think about engaging your tummy, engaging your shoulders. Inhale, bring yourself back to centre and take yourself over to the other side. Bringing the elbow towards the knee, twisting yourself round. You can reach the knee, you can add a little bit of resistance with the hands pushing into the knee, elbow pushing into the knee. And you'll find that this one makes you breathe quite heavily because you're twisting the tummy muscles and you need those for breathing. So they're twisted out of shape, harder to breathe. Inhale, bring yourself back to the centre and come on up. Lovely. Just give your arms a nice little shake. Don't forget, take water whenever you want. I've just decided I want to take some water. Lovely. So we've done bum. We're going to do bum and hamstring now. So I want you to take your feet the same sort of distance you had in the chair pose and take your left foot back, only about 2 feet. So your legs are going to stay nice and straight. Bring your hands into prayer in front of you. And as you exhale, we're coming into pyramid. So hinge from the hips, hands forward. You want to keep the body nice and straight. Now at this point, you probably find either your hamstring or your calf is overpowering, and you probably want to bend your knee. I don't want you to bend the knee. So if you feel like the knee wants to bend, then you need to come up slightly. This is about getting a good stretch through the leg. If you're feeling a little bit unbalanced, you can always take your hands down to the leg to kind of balance you, but I want you to keep breathing and keep thinking about your exhale, allowing you to come down towards the floor a little bit more. Make sure you breathe, nice big deep breath. And then bringing yourself back up. Now, I want you to think about how you come up. So you're going to inhale on the way up, but you want to push your feet and lengthen your thighs as you come up from the floor. By pushing your feet into the floor, you're using your legs as well as your abdomen to lift you up. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, bring the other leg back. Try and bring it back to the same width of position and length of position, legs nice and straight. We're going to change our hand positions now. So just take your hands behind your back and grab for your elbows, or as near as your elbows as you can reach. Inhaling, just gently looking up to the sky, adding a small back bend. And as you exhale, lean forward, keep your back nice and straight. Bring your body forward. Hands behind the back, make the balance a little bit harder. Look down to your toes. Focus on the floor in front of you. Don't forget, every posture, you need a drishti point. Allow yourself to slowly relax into the pose. You might find your breathing's harder. Again, we've tucked over, the belly's getting a bit squashed. Remember, as you push up, as you inhale, push your feet into the floor, toes, heels, balls of the feet, lengthen the body. And then release your arms and give it a good shake. Lovely. Everybody's doing okay? So for our next pose, we're going to come down onto the floor and do some work on our bottoms. But what we're going to do before we do that is bring our tennis ball with us. So pick up your tennis ball. Have a sip before you come down. Just sit yourself onto the floor. We're going to do 2 more poses and then we're going to use the tennis ball. So straighten out your right leg and bring your left leg out to the side. And I want you to take note of what happens when you do a forward bend. So you want to shift your body weight down your front leg. So hands just on your leg, and as you exhale, you're just leaning forward, taking your hands down towards your feet. I try to use optimistic words. I know some people struggle with reaching their toes, so it's always aiming towards something. And don't feel frustrated if you can't get there. You have to consider your body is a different shape. Your postures are different. You've learned from different people. So interestingly, I have a mother and daughter that come to my class, and they both have the same bad posture. Their backs curve. So if you do half lift and your back's supposed to be like that, where they really curve over like that, and they can't straighten themselves up. And it's almost as if the daughter has learned from the mother. It's fascinating. You know me, I'm a bit kinky, I like learning unusual stuff. So let's bring ourselves back up. So you should have felt some kind of tightness through your bottom, maybe through the inner thigh. Bring yourself back up. Bring the knee back to the centre. And we're going to use this leg over the other side. So bring it over the top. And I want you to take your left hand to the floor behind you. So get the palm flat to the floor. That's your balance hand. And what we're going to try to do is bring your right hand to the inside. I don't know whether you can tell with my colourings. I've brought my hand to the left-hand side of my leg. So it's on the outside of my leg. And I'm trying to keep my arm straight. And I'm going to use the arm to, I don't know whether you can see that because I'm just wearing black. I'm pushing my leg over to the side using my arm. Yeah, so that's what I want you to think about doing. Using your body, pull the arm to open it through and then turn your shoulders round. So this is quite a tough posture on your lower back, your glutes. So think about where you feel the tightness and notice from one side to the other with this pose specifically. Now I've just noticed that my shoulder's a bit high at the front. So bring the arm down and keep pushing. So there's a little bit of resistance in this posture. And then release your arm, bring yourself back to the centre. So now we're going to swap over and do the other side. So straighten out your left leg, bend your right leg and bring it out to the side. So just be aware of your posture. And just slowly, as you exhale, walk your hands towards your feet. My optimism coming out again. Just be aware of where you feel the tightness, maybe on the inner thigh of the bent leg, around the knee, or even around the glute or the lower back. It could even be in your upper back, but you need to be aware. With the yoga I teach, I'm trying to make you more aware of your body. And ultimately aware of the signals that your mind and your body create together. If your body and your mind are well connected, you will feel the tension through your body, the tightness and the areas of your body that you need to work on. But you can also allow your body to release because it knows you're listening. It will allow you to come down just a little bit more with each exhale. So on your next inhale, bring yourself forward and come on up. Bring the knee towards the centre. Take this leg over the top. My foot is kind of in line with my knee, but if you feel quite strong, you could always bring it back or take it further down. Ultimately, you want this foot to be nicely placed and flat on the floor, toes not sticking out too much. So take your right hand and put it to the floor behind you, left hand to the outside of your right knee. Use the arm to pull, and then if you can, rotate your shoulders round towards the side. You might have to adjust your back hand to allow this to happen. Really pull against the leg, make sure your front shoulder's down and not up by your ears. This is creating a twist through your abdomen. It makes it slightly harder to breathe, but my main focus point for you is to listen to where there's tightness in your body. Can you feel your glutes particularly tight on one side to the other? Can you feel a slight tightness in your lower back? Just be aware, because that's where we're going to work on with the tennis ball in a few moments. So inhale, bring yourself round. So tennis ball is required. So we're going to stay sitting on our bottom. Might be a good idea to bring your feet up to a bent position. Want you to take the ball, and I don't mind which side you choose, maybe the one that was looser, or if you want to be a masochist, the one that was tighter. If we start with a gentle one, it might make you feel a bit better. So what we're aiming to do is understand where you felt that tension on your bottom. So mine's kind of underneath the bottom, so I'm just going to put the ball there and then take my hands onto the floor behind me. I'm gently applying a little bit of my body weight onto the ball, and then I'm just going to move my legs from side to side. If you're not feeling anything and it's not in the same place as me, you might need to lift your body off the floor and just roll the ball, your bottom off the floor. Don't know whether you can see the ball. There it is, just peeked out. It's hidden well underneath me. And I'm just rolling my bottom over and across the ball. Oh, I've got my shirt caught. rolling up and down. Hopefully you found some tenses. The only downside about doing it on videos, I can't see your faces, I can't see the contortions or hear the screams. So just a few more seconds. And then we're going to lower off. So I am aware that when I did it on this side, that I felt quite tight above my hip and below my ribs. So that's another area that you could focus on. So we'll do this side and then we'll move on to the other side. So for this one, you need to kind of lay yourself on the floor, and you don't want to put this ball underneath the bone. You want to find that soft bit of muscle. So just above my hip bone, just below my ribs, I'm just putting the ball in there. And then I'm just transferring my weight onto it. So I can, again, with my knees bent, I can lift my bottom off the floor and put a little bit of weight onto the ball and then move from side to side. You might find it slightly more round on the side, so you could maybe turn yourself. Oh, that's it, I found it. There we go. So it's just on the side for me. Don't think I'm going to move, but you can move around, roll about, or just stay still like this. And if you do feel like staying still on it, and it feels a little bit bruised, then just think about your breath, using your breath to allow it to relax slightly. If it's too uncomfortable, you don't want too much weight on it, so you might want to lift yourself a little bit. So maybe take the leg off the floor slightly. Just listen to your body. Listen to what it wants to do. Okay, so you shouldn't do more than about sort of 30 seconds to a minute. It depends on whether you move the ball about. So I had it underneath and I rolled it round. So for me, I kind of did a minute, but probably did 2 different places. So we're going to come up to seated, and then we're going to do the other side. So ball under bottom, hands behind you, and if you've got the determination, lift your body off the floor and just listen to what you feel. So I know this is my tighter side, so I am being gentler. I'm not putting quite so much weight on this, and it is very tender indeed. Bodies are work in progress. That's all I can say. Well, I can say a lot more than that, actually. I'm sure you all know me by now. Can talk the hind legs off a donkey. Especially when I'm doing yoga. I'm quite quiet. So again, if you want to, you can just sit there and allow the ball to go into that tight space and use your breath to relax, sit down. But again, if you've moved it about, you can do a minute. If you've not moved it about, move it now and try 30 seconds on another space, another place. There aren't many people I've met that don't have some form of discomfort on their bum cheeks. So this one's really nice for trying to help loosen a lower back tenderness. I've got one client I do this on, and we always do this at the beginning of the session because it frees him up and makes him a lot easier to do exercises. Cool, okay, so we're finished on that side. Now we're going to come on to the, this muscle here actually, the one that is in the middle of the back here, that's your quadratus lumborum, and that one can often be quite sticky. But if you feel it slightly more around the sides, then this is probably more to do with your core muscles, like your transverse abdominalis or your external obliques. So it's just depending on where you feel it, really. So we're going to lay on the floor, lift the bum off the floor and try and find that nice soft tender bit that is muscle rather than bone. And depending on how you feel, you can keep the legs bent It's not a very big area either, so it's almost about the size of your tennis ball. So really be careful that you're not catching hip bone or ribs. I'm going to straighten my leg out and see if I can come over onto the side a bit, because it seems to be a little bit more tender on the side. Well, it was on the other side, not so much on this side. But that's strange, because on my right side, I know I'm looking at the camera to you, but on my right side, I feel it more tender in this place on my right side, but on my bottom cheek, it's more tender on the left side. As I said many times before, there's 26 different muscles that are attached to your hips. And just one of them being out can cause so many knock-on effects. It's a lovely little massage. Well, it is for me, it might not be for you. Let's release the ball and just put it off to one side. You'll be pleased to know we have finished with the ball. Okay, so we're going to bring the right knee to the chest. My ball's rolling about behind the side of me. And the left knee to the chest, and just gently pull your knees into your chest. And that should allow some kind of stretch through that QL muscle we've just been playing with. And your bottom, your glute muscles. You almost want to think about trying to lift the bottom off the floor slightly. Not the head, just the bottom. And then bring your feet to the floor. So we're just going to do a little side twist to stretch out your glutes. So take your feet about shoulder width apart or hip width apart. Get your feet to your bottom. You're going to inhale, lift your bottom off the floor, and then take the bottom over to the right-hand side of your mat. So you're almost aiming to get the edge of your bottom to the edge of your mat. So you feel like you're a bit of a banana now. Bottom's over to the right, bring your knees over to the left. Changes the stretch slightly. Just leave your feet on the floor. Allow your knees to just rest gently and bring your hands down to the floor, avoiding any tennis balls. You shouldn't have moved your feet. They should be in the same place, but they've just rolled over to the side. Hope you're getting a good stretch through your bum. If you're not, we're going to make it a little bit more intense. So bring your top leg so that the knee of the top leg comes onto the knee of the bottom leg and your feet come together. That should make the stretch through that QL side of the hip, coming into your bottom a little bit deeper. And if you want to make it a little bit harder, you could stretch the top leg out. That comes right into the glute. Well, it does on me. I always forget because it doesn't always work the same. It doesn't always work the same on different people. Very good. So bring that leg back to the bent position. Bring your legs back to the centre as you inhale. And you want to centre your body up. So lift your body, get everything back in the right place. So you should be nice and in line with the centre of your mat now. We're going to do that on the other side. So inhale, lift your bottom, take it over to the left-hand side of your mat. Now take your knees over to the right-hand side. Just gently to start with, feel where the stretch is coming through. Don't move your feet, just allow your feet to come to the same place. Feel the twist coming through your body. Doing lots of twists today. Hope you're okay with that, but it's good core work using the twists. And now we're going to see if we can increase that stretch. So lift the top leg off the floor, bring the knees together and the feet together, increasing the stretch through your glutes, through your quadratus lumborum. And then if you want to, you don't have to, you can stay here because this is already a tough stretch. You could lengthen out the top leg, really getting that into your bum cheeks. Trying to keep both shoulders on the floor as well. If your shoulders lift, the stretch isn't as effective. And this is an effective stretch. Whew, okay, Bring the leg back to your foot. Inhale, lift your knees off the floor. Bring yourself back into a nice straight position with your knees bent. Okay. So we are going to do a little bit of work on our legs. So bring your hands up to your head, touching behind your ears. You're not lifting your head, you're just using the arms and putting them in this position to stretch open the chest. So what I want you to think about doing is lifting both legs off the floor. And then you're going to exhale, take your left leg away from you. Now you can take it up to the sky. Or if you're feeling really good, you can take it down to the floor, but don't put it down. Then you're going to bring that leg back up. And exhale, take the other leg down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Keeping your back in a nice neutral position. Your tummy should be doing all the work, not your back. Exhaling the leg out. And inhaling it back. Squeeze that core in, keep your back neutral. Don't let it arch too much as your leg comes straight. And bring it back. If it is arching, it means you shouldn't be taking your leg so far down. You need to stop with your leg much higher. Your stomach will still get a workout, but you want your back to stay neutral. Keep going. 4 more for me. I think we'll do another set on both legs. So exhaling out, inhaling back. Exhaling out, neutral back, neutral spine, inhaling back. You deserve to give those legs a little bit of a hug. Allow your belly to get a little bit of a release. And we're going to do a slightly different version of that. So hopefully you're still laying on the floor. You're going to bring your hands to your head again. Keep both legs together this time. And you're going to push as you exhale the legs out. Again, if you go higher with your legs, that still works your tummy, but it's not quite so hard on your back. So you really want to keep your back neutral, engage your core, and allow the legs to come out. And bring it back. Inhaling in and exhaling out. Inhale in, exhale out. Inhale in and exhale out. 2 more for me if you can. Don't worry if you can't. Don't forget to do lots of yoga sessions in a week. Bring it back and bring it in. Very nice. So we're going to come up to a seated position. So just bring yourself up to a seated position for me. And we're going to come over onto our hands and knees. If you suffer with your knees on the floor, then always get a pillow and put the pillow under your knees. So just come around. And bring yourself into tabletop. So arms nice and strong and under your shoulders. Your knees should be shoulder width apart or hip width apart. Engage your core. And you're going to take your leg out to the side. So lifting the leg up to the side. Trying to keep your back nice and flat. Bring the leg down. We'll just do the same movement on the same leg. Giving the leg and the hip a nice big stretch. Exhale down. Exhale up and inhale down. That's not right, is it? Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale. Exhale down. Lovely. We're going to swap to the other side. So put the knee down and work on the other side. So as you inhale, take the leg up and exhale, bring it down. Inhale, take it up and exhale, bring it down. Do 4 more of those for me. Keep that tummy nice and engaged. And or more. And then I think you deserve the child's pose. So bring your knees right out to the outside of the mat, big toes together. Allow yourself to bring your bottom down towards your heels if you can, and lengthen your arms out in front of you. Again, if your shoulder feels tight, you might want to take your hands down to the sides of your feet. If you feel that you can't get your head to the floor, a good way of doing it is maybe to put your fists on top of each other and rest on the floor. Just, it's personal preference, different body positions. If you want to try and keep your heels down to the floor, then you might want to bring your head closer. Sorry, not closer, further away from the floor by putting your head onto your fists. Just relax. Be aware of how this posture is working on your body. You feel nice and relaxed, nice and calm. I'm hoping that you're feeling warm after the exercises we've done. We haven't finished yet. Going to do some more work on our body. So bring yourself up now to child's pose, making sure you're inhaling on your way up. We're going to come up to standing. So inhale, bring yourself on up. And I'm just going to take a sip of water. Very good. So we're going to do a balance now. So a really good balance for your glutes is a sideways balance. So stand with your feet about fist width apart and transfer your weight onto your left leg. You're going to inhale and lift the right leg up, and then you should be nice and straight, and you should be squeezing your bum cheeks. Arms just resting. You can put your hands into prayer if you want. But really think, because this is a balance, really think about your drishti point again. Really try and focus. You need to put the toe down, just balance again, and bring it back up. And then exhale, lower your foot to the floor. Transfer your weight over to the other side and lift the leg up. You should be feeling something going on kind of around here. You might also find something going on there and down the leg. I've got it behind my bum cheek. I don't know why I went northern there. No idea. In fact, whether that was northern, I'm not very good at accents at all. And so you lower your leg down and just give it a nice little shake. Give your bum a nice little rub if you want to. So another balance that's quite good for your hips would be tree pose. So we're going to do another little balance. So take your weight onto your left leg, turn the leg out to the side. So the base level is toe to the floor. If you know where you want to go, then take your leg up, calf, or you, she's just falling over, or you can always bring it up to the side. I don't feel like doing that today. Don't know why. But make sure you avoid the knee. Don't put your heel onto the knee. Bring your hands into your heart centre and focus. I wasn't focused, I was talking too much. Not paying attention. So be aware, pay attention. Listen to what your body has to tell you. If you can clear and calm your mind, you can clear and calm your movement. And as you exhale, lower your arms and lower your foot. Transfer over to the other side. Bring your weight onto your right leg. Open your hip, turn the foot round so the knees pointing to the outside. And then bring it up to the calf, or you can have your tiptoe to the floor. All up to you and your balance. Bring your hands into heart centre. Focus. Be calm. Be aware if you take control of your mind, your balance reduces your mind reduces its chatter. Mind reduced it so much I couldn't work out what I was saying. Lovely. And slowly release your hands and release your leg. Brilliant. Well done. So we're going to come down to the floor. We're going to do one more set of stretches for our glutes, and then we're going to come into our meditation piece. So bring yourself back down onto the floor. Lay down on your back. And straighten your left leg out in front of you. Bring your right leg up. Just gently squeeze the leg up towards your chest. Think about your foot of your left leg. Push the foot away from you. Really lengthen out the leg. We're going to inhale, take the leg up to the sky. Really straighten out the leg. Best you can. Doesn't matter where you get the leg to. Different people have got different stretchability in the backs of the legs. So take your right hand down to the floor to balance you. We're trying to keep this leg straight. So take your other leg, hand down to the leg, to the floor, and take this leg over to the side. So you're keeping the leg straight as you can. If you want to, you can put this hand underneath the knee so that you're balancing it and it's not putting too much pressure. But this is a stretch for your glute. If you're not feeling it in the glute, then you might find you need to bend the knee further. I get a good stretch through my glute with a straight leg. So just play with the bend of your leg to work out where it's coming to. And again, try and enjoy the stretch. And allow your body to let you come through. You might find that the leg will lower slightly. Keep your shoulders on the floor. Feel the rotation through your abdomen. And when you're ready, inhale, bring that leg back to the centre. Just hug the knee into the chest. Keep your left leg long. And then we're swapping legs. So release your right leg to the floor, bend the left leg, straighten the right leg. Inhale, lift the left leg off the floor. Just squeeze the knee into the chest, lengthen the right leg away from you, really lengthening it nice and long. And inhale, lift your leg up to the sky. So try and keep the knee as straight as you can. Can't really tell with me, I've got baggy trousers on today. It's not too bad. Keep that the right leg nice and straight out on the floor. Just feel that stretch coming through your hamstring. Maybe a little bit into your glute. You might feel it in your calf as well. If you're feeling it in the calf, it's better to point the foot. If you flex it, it'll make it more intense in the calf. So just find the range of motion that your foot will allow you to enjoy. Is that the right word? Don't know. Okay, so left hand out to the floor. You're taking the left leg over your midline towards the other side, trying to keep the leg as straight as you can. You can use the right arm to balance the leg, hold it in the air. And just allow your body to relax. You might find the stretch will come a little bit more gentle. Relaxing, breathing. Feel the twist and the rotation through your abdomen area. And then as you inhale, bring your leg back up to the sky. Release the foot down. And bring your knees up so that they're bent. We're going to do a butterfly pose in a reclined position. So just take your feet and knees together and open your knees out towards the outside, bringing the soles of your feet together. Allow the legs to relax out to the side, palms and hands to the floor, maybe your palms facing up. And you might even want to do chin mudra with your hands, so bring your thumb and your forefinger together in a circle. Relax your shoulders. Be aware of your back. If your back is arching, then you need to just push your back into the floor with your abdominal muscles, but you might find that your knees will come up a little bit. I'd rather your back be straight than your knees flat to the floor. I can feel some kind of resistance in my hips, not allowing me to come down. I feel my legs are almost bouncing. It's a minute little movement, but I just feel like they're bouncing up and down. So just be aware if you feel the same. This might sound really strange, and I sound strange most of the time, but that could be a tremor response. So something inside your body is not letting you bring your legs out because of something that's happened to you. Tremor response or a trauma response, I think, is the terminology. Oh, very relaxed. So just on your next inhale, bring your knees back together. And it is that time to come into Shavasana. So if you feel like putting your feet up the sofa or up the wall or just your feet on the floor, balancing against a nice neutral back, palms to the floor. You can put a cushion under your head, a big blanket over the top of you. Get nice and comfortable. So while you're getting comfortable, think about your breath. Be aware of your breath. Just breathing nice and deeply. Follow the movement of your body as you breathe. Allow your mind to take notice of your breath. And if you get any thoughts coming in, then that's perfectly fine. I'm going to get you to think about lots of things in this meditation piece. So as I said earlier, the theme of meditation is love and hate. Two strong emotions. They're very strong emotions actually, and so my initial thought was to try love and hate, but actually I think to come to something that's a little bit easier, more like dislike, would be something better to think about. So while you're laying there, I'd like you to think about something that you dislike. It could be a person, a boss, somebody that's got your goat today, somebody who's annoyed you. It could be a dislike of a food. It could be dislike of a situation that's arisen. Maybe somebody cut you up in traffic today. Or you have a dislike of wearing a certain piece of clothing. I'm just trying to give you some ideas, but I'm going to give you something more than that. I'm going to tell you one of my dislikes just to give you the understanding of why we're talking about likes and dislikes. So I dislike a mature, ripe banana. I like my bananas green or just turning from green to yellow. I think the texture and the taste of the banana is much more to my liking. I don't have a sweet tooth, and so therefore the bananas aren't, they're more, I suppose they're more starchy than sweet at that stage. And if a banana goes that different colour yellow and it goes with brown spots on it, and that's it, I can't eat it, I can't go anywhere near it. And for me, it's about texture and sweetness. I recently discovered that my sister doesn't like bananas either. And we have a feeling it's got something to do with our mum, but unfortunately, our mum left us when we were quite young, so we don't know for definite, but that's where we're taking our thought pattern to. So I don't like waste, and for me, I can't throw away a banana like that. So now I've taken to either putting them in the freezer and keeping them as green as I can, or I put them in my smoothies. So at least I've overcome my dislike in a certain way because I don't want to waste. But what I'm trying to tell you is often the things that you dislike are not necessarily something that you have chosen. They could be something that you've learnt from a mentor or a peer in your life. So maybe a sister, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, mum or dad, or whoever brought you up, aunts and uncles, grandmas, grandpas. It could be something that you learnt from somebody else. And if you think about this, if you take it back to one of the rawest things that you learn to do, as a child you learn to walk or you learn to talk. And how do you learn? You learn from a parent or somebody who's looking after you, a carer. You'll watch the people around you and you'll learn your words, you'll learn your steps, and you'll learn your movement by watching and learning. And a lot of the things that we take on board are taken on board from somebody in our life that we have learned from. So I think you might see where I'm going now. It's been quite an eye-opener for me, being looking at lots of different things. So I hope you've thought of something that you dislike and you're not just listening to me. I also now want you to think about something that you like. And why do you like it? So my mind's gone blank, I can't remember what my like is. I remembered, sorry. So I like birds. I love watching wild birds. I don't have any tame birds, I don't keep birds, but I love watching the birds that fly over my garden, the birds that fly around as I go for my walks. Got my husband into it too. He wasn't merely a bird watcher, but he enjoys it, and we just sit there, and we've just had some baby wrens in the garden this week. So we've seen mummy wren feeding 2 babies. So how good do you think I felt seeing that? It's lovely, amazing. But guess what? It's learned. So I've always thought that I learned my love of birds from my dad. My dad is an avid bird watcher. But on talking to him about it last week while I was putting my meditation together, he said to me, "Oh no, I didn't know anything about birds. It's only when I met your mother that it was her that introduced me to them. And your love of birds comes from your mother." Oh my God, didn't know that. But I did know it came from my dad, and he's been the parent that's been with us. And so therefore I did learn it from him, but he learned it from her. So it's another bond to my mother and also a bond to my father. So do you see how I'm trying to guide you? You've probably found something that you like. And there's many things that we like. Depends on what you picked. I've picked something simple to talk about. But I've got other examples of likes. So I like, and I'm fascinated by the human body. I've always been fascinated by it. And it comes from my biology teacher at school. Lovely woman, really interesting character, and hooked me, and I've always been fascinated by it. I've always been learning about it. So nutrition, massage, reflexology, I've learned all the different ways. And even with yoga, you learn about the anatomy and physiology. And I've also always loved sport. I've always been quite sporty, been into different things. So again, I had a really good teacher at school. She played netball for England, and so she was very charismatic, very sporty, very professional, and her love of sport rubbed off onto me. My dad was also a keen sportsman, and I think the love from him also rubbed off. So you're guided throughout your life in all things that you like and dislike from somebody else around you. Now, it doesn't have to be your parents. You could have watched a TV program and found, oh my God, I would love to do that. You could have gone to a yoga class and thought, oh, this is brilliant, I love this, I'm never going to do that. So you learn from the people around you. I think I've just said that, obviously, I'm inspiring. No, that's not what I meant. But I hope that I've given you some food for thought, that not just the things like food and sport and birds, but there's lots of other things that you learn from other people. So I hope that I've given you food for thought and given you something to think about. I hope I've given you a conversation piece. It is definitely something that is more interesting as you think about things. Why did you pick something like that? Why do you think in that certain way? It's not just about likes and dislikes. Everything we do is learned. And on that note, I'm going to bring you round. So as you inhale and exhale, bring some life back into your body. Maybe wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. And maybe if you've covered your eyes, maybe take whatever you've got over your eyes off your eyes. Just squeeze your knees into your chest, lifting the legs one at a time, keeping the pressure out of your back. And when you feel ready, no rush, just bring yourself up gently into a seated position. Remembering if your blood pressure is high, you need to roll to the right. And if it's low, you roll to the left. So I hope your glutes and your tummies had a nice little workout today. That you feel calm and that you've had an interesting thought through the meditation today. So just bring your hands up to your heart center. And instead of using the Sanskrit words, I'm going to use my last little phrase in English. To universal peace. Thank you.